With the new trailer released for Marvel What If Season 3, we will have the chance to see long-awaited things, especially the Celestials videos I have shared with you on the channel recently, and topics such as how the most powerful being emerged were not in vain. The year 2025, when we will enter Marvel's multiverse movies, would reveal many truths that have been hidden until now. In this video, I will explain to you in every detail why the Celestials and Watchers came together. But before we start, if you are new to the channel and don't want to miss the content, don't forget to subscribe and like the video. What If Season 3 will be the final season of the series anyway? Since there will be no more multiverse movies and series, they had to show us the entire Marvel hierarchy. As I mentioned in the video of the most powerful Marvel character, they had to explain the duties and locations of all the beings in the multiverse. So far, in the MCU, they have shown all these structures we mentioned one by one, but they have not explained the connection of any of them. For example, they have shown the timelines, but they have not shown the being that represents the timelines in the universe. They have shown the universe, but they have not mentioned where and in what position the universe is. They have shown the celestial beings, but they have not shown what the celestial beings have done so far and where they are. Most importantly, they have not explained where this race called Watchers came from and the purpose for which they were created. In fact, they need to explain who or what this system serves and why the Living Tribunal controls this system. Doing this in live-action movies or series can be extra costly because they will redesign the characters and there will be a lot of CGI costs. However, if we consider that everything is animated in the What If series, all this system we are talking about needs to be explained in the third season, because the biggest enemy of this season will be a being named Shuma-Gorath, who also appears in the comics. We were expecting this being to appear in the Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness movie, but he has never left us alone since the first season of the What If series. Shuma-Gorath does not have any universe. He is this character on the multiverse level, which is directly only one in the multiverse. As a result, it is quite normal to expect the Watcher and the Celestials race to intervene in this incident. In fact, the celestial beings next to the Watcher were the celestial beings who previously created galaxies and stars in the Eternals movie. For example, the blue celestial being we see here was known as Nazar the Calculator. The green celestial being we see here should have been Jemiah the Analyzer, although it is unknown who the purple celestial being is. He was in both the movie and the series. Also, in the concept art of the Eternals movie, you can see the green and blue celestial beings in their full form. The interesting thing about Nazar is that his face is not like the others. His face looked like this in the comics, as if he came out of Halloween. In general, it is nice that they are loyal to celestial beings and directly reflect those in the comics. At least they do not make up celestial beings as they wish. When you look at the Marvel intro, there is another very interesting detail here. The Marvel intro is divided into 4, and the place that symbolizes this 4th dimension will be the branches that Loki holds in his hand. We will most likely see Loki in What If Season 3, because Marvel previously prepared a What If story specifically for Apple Vision Pro. In this story, Scarlet Witch would attack Loki and manipulate all the universes. If the great Marvel has prepared such a series for Apple Vision, they should show Loki in the original series, right? They showed us Loki in the finale of Season 2. In other words, they actually gave signals that we would see Loki in Season 3. Don't expect much from these scenes. We will probably see a scene similar to the comics, and they will show the current state of the multiverse. We will see everyone gather to stop the damage that Shuma-Gorath has done or will do. But the real question that those who follow the comics will be curious about is whether there will be a fight between the Watchers and the Celestials. Because in the comics, the Watcher race and the Celestials did not get along very well. Since we will see both the Watchers and the Celestials together in the cinematic universe, they may actually mention that these two races do not get along very well. If there are those who are curious about the result, of course, the Watchers do not have much of a chance against the Celestial race, my friends. I just thought you should know that these two races do not get along very well and constantly criticize each other. For example, the Watchers can be a little more emotional about the decisions made by the Celestials. The explosion of planets and the use of living beings are not very well received by the Watcher race. The biggest reason for this is that the Watcher race actually represents the audience. The Watchers are in the audience as viewers and generally tell stories to the audience. Therefore, whatever the audience thinks in general, the watcher thinks almost the same things. They cannot make rational decisions as celestial beings, but at the same time, the watcher race, that is, us, cannot intervene in the story. We cannot pass our hand through the screen and say, whoop, 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 whoop. In general, there can be a character that represents everything in Marvel. And let's see if the watcher race will judge Uatu. Because if you remember the disasters that occurred because of Uatu, thousands of galaxies were torn apart because of his fight with Infinity Ultron. This will definitely have consequences. After all, there is a great law that the watcher race cannot intervene in things. The person who breaks this law needs to be given a very big punishment. So they will most likely show these at some point. I hope we see a war between the Celestials and the Watchers. But it seems unlikely in Season 3. In the newly released trailer, we get a closer look at Mysterio. I was very obsessed with this episode because it was a very interesting and intriguing episode. Because it is a bit of a problem to use a character that belongs to Sony in the MCU. If we are going to see the original Mysterio, I think it is a character that belongs to Sony and is not in the MCU. Finally, a new scene of Storm has emerged. This episode is not very interesting to me. Storm using Mjolnir does not make her a stronger being than Thor. They may even show that she is weaker. However, since their aim is to normalize the arrival of mutants in the MCU, it will seem like an episode with mutants. I think Season 3 has been the most interesting season so far. At least we will watch a production where everything we have watched so far comes to a conclusion. We were calling Seasons 1 and 2 transition seasons. But there will be no subject that we can call the final season a transition season. Well, friends, I hope you liked the content I have prepared. If there are other videos you would like to see, don't forget to write them in the comments. That's all from me for now. Take care. Goodbye.